About the doping then, and the time that it will take to kind of get this system in place,
I'd say
and
6 months.
the opportunity, yeah, and the opportunity for other athletes to maybe make some adjustments. Do you think that that will hopefully bring in some fresh opponents for you? Because you've said that there are some guys out there that you would like to fight, but you just don't think that they could come in and do it clean.
Yeah, exactly. Again, I've been trying for 2 years to fight Baby Shark. That was my dream match. Like I really wanted that match. If I didn't get killed from UFC, I'd be tempted to just go to one and fight him. I just want to fight him really bad. Yeah, I think that what's gonna happen, Hywel, is we need new young guns to become stars, and UFC has the platform to actually create them. Why I'm saying, going back to what I said before, guys, I have really bad ADHD, so I jump conversations and then things come together. So just bear with me. Before we were talking about becoming a star, and that you needed a legend to become a star. You need to beat a legend to become a star. I think UFC is the only platform that might not be the case, because they have enough pull, enough publicity to actually make stars out of anyone, right? If they actually want to, they could choose who becomes stars. They could have them do media events. They could bring out a part of their personality. I feel like they actually can create stars without the typical format that we needed in the past. My opinion is, what do we need in our sport? I think this generation is going to be very difficult to actually create, to bring all the best people into one because of all these exclusive contracts. I think that there's only two paths that lead to all the best people competing with each other. One of them, we scrap all the new exclusive contract organizations and they all just pull out, so nobody's making money, and we go back to old school ADCC, IBJJF. You get the best guys competing with each other. Nobody makes money. Jiu-jitsu you can't make a living off of. We have to go to MMA, have a gym, if that's what people want. Or we have these exclusive wars with these organizations, and the one with the most money, the most sustainability, that draws the most audience, wins this war, and we have everyone together in that exclusive organization, and we have an amazing setup. That's where we're at right now. My opinion is UFC needs to create many different weight classes, have a lot of young stars, and build them. Like, for example, I think there should be a 125 with Jalen Fonacier. He's incredible. He's 19 years old, and he's just destroying everyone, right? That's an easy star for them to build. So have a 125. Have me in 135. I'm already a star, right, for them. Now let's go to 145. Have somebody like, what's the kid that won EBI? That insane kid, Landon.
Landon Elmo,
He is
yeah, awesome.
incredible. Imagine UFC investing in him and making him a star at 145. Now we have a star at 25, 35, 45, 55. Okay, Carlos, they're building right now. He's kind of like a Charles Oliveira format coming from, you know what I mean? Like, that's how you create stars long term. And that's UFC's long-term strategy. I talked to Hunter, and he said, I understand the short run, I'm going to lose money. It's going to be difficult. But let's look 10 years from now. I have the money to go 10 years in this, which is true. He does.
Wow.
UFC has the money to do this. Does any other organization have 10 years worth of money to lose to actually build divisions? So if we did something like this, don't you agree that that would yield having stars in every division, getting these young kids, creating them, having different people slowly come into the organization, and you just slowly keep building them and make storylines, constant storylines. I think that that's how we actually produce stars in UFC grappling.
You're absolutely right. And you kind of jumped onto the next topic because I was going to ask you about this. I was going to ask you about the future of pro BJJ and the plans for the UFC. And you described it perfectly about how they have the system to create stars. And right now they have,
they're the only ones that can.
They're the only ones who can. They have three current champions, yourself, Carlos Enrique, and Andrew Tackett. They're going to have another title match with Raquel Canuto coming up later this year. But they have all these vacant divisions that one day will be filled by champions. And they, like you said, they have the system to create these guys and to get there. Can you tell us a little bit more about the UFC's plans? Because you said 10 events next year. You said that they have the money, and it seems the patience as well required to go 10 years in this if they want to. Can you tell us anything more about the UFC's plans for BJJ?
Yeah. So again, we had 6 events this year, and UFC BJJ had how many events? 4, right? Because the other ones were Fight Pass Invitational.
Correct.
So we only had 4 this year. Next year, we're having 10. So obviously they're expanding to like every other month or even multiple months the same. So what does that mean if they're expanding to 10 events next year? they're going to have a lot more athletes, right? They're going to have a lot more athletes. They're going to be expanding, not just in Vegas. They're going to be going to different places. You know, they're going to be planning to do different things like this. Their goal long term, I believe, is they're going to have a UFC MMA event, and they'll have Power Slap another day and Jiu-Jitsu another day, all at their UFC events as well. So they'll already have all the segments of people watching, the most views possible, right? They do plan on having every weight class. They do plan on having drug testing, just like their MMA division. And yeah, I see them have the ability to actually long-term sustain and create stars and eventually one day yield a profit in 10 years. But no other organization had that ability. So everyone called me a sellout. I'm a horrible human. I'm all this. But did I really do anything so bad, or was I looking logically for the best solution for everyone? Because they do have the backing. And what I said is true, Hywel, right? Like, let me ask you, would all these exclusive contracts, like these organizations stand? Like, let's just scrap them all. Let's get rid of one, UFC and Flow. Let's go back to IBJJF, ADCC. There's no money, right? We already tried this since 1996. Then what happens is these organizations with money come in, and then the athletes start making money, and then there's this capitalism battle between them. So what do you think has to happen for us to actually have these? If we get rid of exclusive contracts, they'll all leave. Because why would UFC invest in anyone putting money in if they're just going to donate them to Flow or donate them to one? Does that make sense? Like, what incentive do these people have?
No, you're right. It's simple business strategy that any event in the world is going to protect their assets. And those assets in this case are the athletes, the fighters. So they're going to have those under contract for sure. It's a simple business.
Can I ask you now, what is your opinion on what has to happen in grappling for us to get to where we have all the best guys together?
Well, number one, I don't think that the UFC moving into BJJ and doing exclusive contracts is a bad thing. I really don't, because they are creating a league which they are going to position as the best in the world. And I feel that everybody will want to be there for sure. But where are they going to get those new athletes from? I'm sure they're watching the tournaments. They're watching the IBJJF Worlds. They're watching ADCC. They're watching all these events.
They watch everything.
But at the same time, just like in MMA, there are other feeder organizations that develop talent, create these up and coming stars, and then send them to the big league, the UFC. So I'm thinking like events like Polaris, events like EBI, and other events all around the world, they'll be doing the same thing. They'll be building up talent, and ultimately that athlete will hit a ceiling. And at some point, they'll have to think, if I want to make more money and if I want to fight the best guys in the world, I gotta have to go to the UFC. Or in some cases, if that guy has a really good deal, or if he has a particular strategy in mind for himself, maybe he has a really good marketable kind of character in a certain location or a region in the world, maybe he'll stay in Asia, maybe he'll stay in Europe. But as we've seen in MMA, it's possible for people to have good careers that way. So I don't think it's a bad thing, the UFC coming in. I actually think it's going to raise the bar for everybody, because now a lot of organizations that maybe they got away with doing things like at 50% for a long time, not paying the athletes that well, not treating them that well. And then a professional player comes in, they're going to have to raise their game to compete with the UFC. So I think it's a very important moment for jiu-jitsu. And I also think that this is the beginning of a real spike in the growth of the professional side of jiu-jitsu. I think it's a very important time indeed.